Have you ever felt insanely motivated, like you're ready to conquer the entire world, but then 2 days later, you're sort of bored, irritated, or already chasing something else? So, if you're an Aries or you have heavy Aries energy, this video is going to feel uncomfortably accurate because Aries don't struggle with motivation. And today, we're breaking down exactly how Aries can unlock their most productive version without burning out, rage quitting, or getting bored halfway through. Alright, let's start with the basics. Nothing complicated. Aries is a fire sign ruled by Mars, and Mars is the planet of action, drive, aggression, instinct, and the feeling of I'm doing this and I'm doing it now, which means Aries energy is all about starting, beginning. Aries is the sign of initiative, courage, leadership, impulse, raw momentum. And if the zodiac were a story, Aries is literally the first page. You're not here to wait. You're not here to overthink. You're here to move. And when Aries is aligned, they're unstoppable. But then, when Aries is misaligned, they're confused, frustrated, scattered, and really exhausted despite doing a lot. Here's the truth most people don't tell Aries. Your productivity superpower is speed and ignition. You are incredible at starting projects, taking initiatives when others hesitate, jumping into action without fear, being the first one to try something, and creating momentum where there was none. Aries energy is forward moving. When Aries decide to do something, it's not maybe I'll do it. It's not someday I'll do it. It's right now, right here, right now. And this is why Aries often become entrepreneurs, leaders, pioneers, creators, and they are usually the ones who make the first move. But here's the problem. Most productivity systems are built for people who need motivation. Aries don't need motivation. Aries needs direction and containment. So let's talk about the shadow side. The biggest productivity killer for Aries is impatience. Aries usually wants fast results, instant progress, and visible movement. So the moment something feels slow, repetitive, boring, or overly detailed, this usually makes Aries check out mentally. And this can lead to starting a million things and abandoning projects halfway. You could also be mistaking boredom for failure. But then Aries does something sneaky. They blame themselves. They often have thoughts like, I just can't focus, or I'm inconsistent. No, you are just not designed to work like everyone else. So, why traditional productivity advice fails Aries? This part is important. Most productivity advice says, plan everything in advance. Stick to the strict routines. Do the most difficult thing first every single day, and move slowly and consistently. That works for some signs, but for Aries, that feels like a literal prison. When Aries feels restricted, controlled, or boxed in, their motivation dies instantly. Aries productivity is energy based, not rule based. So you work best when you feel challenged, you feel excited, feel like you're racing, competing with somebody else, or you feel like there's a win on the line. But don't worry, I have something for you. This is the Aries productivity formula. Here's what actually works for Aries. 1. Short sprints, not long hauls. Aries thrives in bursts. Instead of saying, I'm going to work on this particular thing all day, try something like, I'm going all in for 30 minutes. Set timers, raise the clock, and make it a challenge, essentially a game. Because Aries need urgency. Even artificial urgency works. 2. Your visible progress is non-negotiable. If Aries cannot see progress, motivation can disappear. You need checklists, visual trackers, progress bars, and things like before and after markers. Even tiny wins matter to you. Aries doesn't need perfection, they need movement. 3. Competition, even if it's fake. Aries work best when there's something to beat. That could be a timer, your past self, your personal record, a public goal, or a challenge or game you created. Essentially, turn your productivity into a game. Aries isn't here to be disciplined. They're here to win. Let's talk emotions for a second. Aries feels frustration physically. So when you're blocked, bored, or stagnant, it can turn into irritation, anger, and impulsive decisions. So this is why sometimes Aries quit suddenly, lash out, or change directions abruptly. And the fix? Move your body before you move your mind. Aries processes emotions through action. So before working, try things like a short walk, a nice stretch, or doing something physical. Your brain clears when your body moves. And how can Aries avoid burnout? Here's the big trap Aries fall into. You go all in, you push hard, you ignore the limits, you run on adrenaline, and then you might crash. Burnout for Aries doesn't come from doing too little, it comes from never pacing. The key is this: try to stop before you're exhausted. Leave some energy on the table. End your sessions while you still feel excited. In that way, coming back doesn't feel like a punishment. So, what's the best work environment for Aries? Aries productivity depends heavily on environment. You thrive in spaces that feel open, energetic, uncluttered, and alive. But you do not do well in stagnant environments, overly quiet spaces, and places that can feel restrictive. Music helps, standing desks help, and movement helps. Aries need flow, not stillness. Next, how to reframe inconsistency for Aries. Here's a reframe that every Aries need to hear. You are not inconsistent. Rather, you're cyclical. Your energy comes in bursts, in waves. Your job isn't to flatten the wave, it's to ride it properly. So when your energy is high, start, initiate, and push forward. But when your energy dips, reflect, reset, and plan the next charge. This is natural for you. And if you're an Aries, there are also a couple of things that you should stop doing for maximum productivity. Stop forcing yourself into rigid systems, shaming yourself for boredom, thinking productivity has to look calm, or waiting until you feel ready. Because you're not built for hesitation, you're built for action. So you might wonder, what does the highest version of Aries productivity look like? So the most productive Aries acts quickly, adjusts on the go, learns by doing, leads instead of waits, and trusts their instincts. You're here to start fires, not tend them forever. So if this resonated, it's because this is your energy. Every zodiac sign has a completely different productivity style. What works for Aries can completely sabotage someone else. So if you want to learn how your sign actually works, how to stop fighting your natural energy, and how to turn astrology into something practical, make sure you're subscribed. We're breaking down productivity habits, mindset, self-mastery, sign by sign, in a way that actually makes sense in your real life. And trust me, your sign is going to feel called out in the best way.